backwards. Ain't no way out, I tell you what. Don't pray for nothing, nothing in the curse. We can't forgive us for this. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If Franken's giving, have your respect to your oppressor. Be about your business, this Lord teaching death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind fail. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. The devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like bad pal. But ain't no getting out the game like you mangy. You take that oath, it's a done deal. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times and it's death to his part. So how you feel about this truth, about the show? This ain't the like you think, nigga. I should want even your own people go this on. And no one said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing, ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George get murder for capital. Now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fuck a raise it. I pity those watching life as it go by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. And pump smoke, never try to. They dead on my brother, be the dead and sold out on the photo. Salute, my nigga, salute, my nigga. Like how you stay focused, I told him I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now I never do my nigga. It's like Bishop did right here. Never mind in our beliefs. They under anesthesia. So they say she leave me, said she wanna let that love go. So I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood. So how you feel about this truth, about the show? This ain't the like you think. Yeah, nigga, I should want even your own people go this home. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Shalom Lord in Christ. We're going to kick this off. We're going to say clap it up. We're going to clap it up. We're going to clap it up. Okay, so we had ISUPK started on 1 West 125th Street under Commanding General Yahano. If you're not in ISUPK, you're just not in the truth. You're just not getting the stuff you need to get. You're not getting it from the direction. And most of the people who telling you what they're telling you, they don't know what they're saying. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so as usual, we give you a little bit of encouragement to get out there in the yard, get out there in the field, get out there in your farm, get out there in the area and start planting something. Plant a crop, plant a tree, develop a little vegetable bed. You got the space. If you have the space, let's go there and do it. You know, if you don't have the space, then do something smaller. You could even plant this in a pot. Get a 5-gallon pot, get some soil from the hardware store, get a small seedling, get a seed, grow it. Tomatoes are good one to grow it. Okay, read up on it and see how to take care of it and go from there. So that's my encouragement for you persons who don't get yourself in the soil too much. I urge you to get in the soil. You're gonna love it. Check out my shorts. I should be putting out some more shorts on the farm, on the animals, and the crops that was growing. So check the shorts out. Check some of the shorts out in the past. You'll see what's going on in my neck of the woods. Okay, we're gonna jump over to, let's see if I get them up. Some current events. What's going on in your neck of the woods? And I'll tell you what's going on in mine. Okay, so tell you what's going on in my neck of the woods. First, we've been reporting over the last few days now car crashes. Listen, it's hard to tell you when you're behind the wheel how to drive, but the truth is, before you get behind the wheel, they teach you what to do. That's why you get a driver's license. They're teaching you now that the road is not engineered to make. When I got my first car, a gentleman, a Caucasian, an oppressor. I was 17 years old. The oppressor. He actually helped me. At 17 years old, I couldn't even go to the bank and sign. I think I remember him. Must be co-sign or something. My first car, a Pontiac Ventura. I remember the name. The first thing he told me, now listen, this guy can turn the car and make it 90, okay? So like, that's what he told me. The Caucasian tell me, he said, no, you can't be making 90 and try to turn the corner. So, it was a fast car. But somehow, our people aren't getting at this stage. They think they could turn the corner and make it 90. No. Cars, the roads are engineered for certain speed. The cars are engineered to do certain things. And cars are not engineered to fly. Okay? I mean, they might come across a little light, but the problem is people are dying. They're dying because of ignorance. They're dying because of, I don't know, well, even if you're intoxicated, it's still ignorance. Because if you're behind the wheel and if it's few of y'all behind the wheel, you should know, if you're a grown man, you should know your limitations. If you're a young child, then you need to have a designated driver. Simple. Okay? So we shouldn't be losing so many people to stupid things like car crashes and the other things, drug involvement, just people having chemical imbalance. You see so many people walking on the street, like the counting lampposts. I mean, that's what we call it, right? They're pushing the trolley with all their possessions right in the trolley. See, chemical imbalance. Okay, so I digress, eh? But anyway, what am I? We're on automobile crashes. But actually, that was, that was wrong. Now, the next thing was, again, another automobile crash. This one was first. We had one was in the nation's capital. We had one here on our island, I guess a day or two ago, and then we had one in Abaco. This is 21 of our islands, right? Inhabited, 21, 22 inhabited islands. But probably more on the Keys now, because you have people purchasing off the Keys. The rich people buying the Keys and they're living on the Keys also. So we have more inhabited islands and Keys now than just the 22. We probably up to, I don't know, rich guys, maybe up to 50 or so. Okay, so, but we just have, again, just young people just dying because of, stupid mistakes, car crash. So anyway, the next current event in the Bahamas, which we can talk about, is we talk about this sexual assault. A 91-year-old female was sexually assaulted, and I was sticking to the word sexually assaulted, but apparently, it's even more ridiculous. I would think a mentally challenged 54-year-old son sexually assaulted his own mother. I could only think the guy don't have any sense. Number one, a 91-year-old woman and your mother? What kind of foolishness going on? Listen, if you don't think we will be under the curse, if you don't think that this thing that is happening to our people is of the Lord, you got the next thing coming. I know you don't believe that the Lord is the author of these kind of things. But if you believe, think about this. If you believe there's no power greater than God and nobody can do nothing other than God says it, so how do you account for things happening? Somehow the Lord is displeased with us. But we know why He's displeased with us generally. We ain't doing none of the commandments. Well, I'm speaking that loosely, right? That's why we say if you're not nice, you okay? You ain't in the truth. Because everybody out there, they doing their own thing. And there's so many of them and so few of us. We ain't making a difference at this point. Okay, so overwhelming sin is overtaking the world. That's what's happening. And the few of us would stick into the law right now. This is why we got to go out and reach as many people as we can. Because our few numbers, we ain't putting a dent in it. The Lord, the Sodom and Gomorrah thing, the Lord asking the angel, if I go there, if I would destroy it for. The Lord is allowing this place to destroy itself. allowing the people to destroy themselves. That's what's happening. So we got to look out for all of these things that's happening. Sexual assault, your own family members. This is ridiculous. And the worst thing is, how you can sexually assault you? I wouldn't even say the word, okay? But come on. Well, in Israel, we'll deal with that. He may have done it one time, but when everybody else here, but what happened to him? They wouldn't do it. That's all I know. They'll not do that. They will not do that. And there ain't gonna be no long drawn out, nothing like that too. Let's get the information and do whatever we have to do. But when you have a shy reach back, everything will be revealed. So we ain't gonna have no long drawn out things. No. Let's jack them up and move on. So like, yeah. Let's jack them up and move on. I know sometimes you'll take things too much to heart when it comes about life and death. Think about it, like how it appears as God looks at and Yahweh Shai look at it. Even the apostles, it didn't appear as though they take life so serious and be so fearful of coming to the end of their life. That's it. They wasn't so fearful of coming to the end of their life. Like how I fool with the Christians all the time. None of them are ready to go. None of them ready to talk about the end of their life. No. The Lord got more for me to do here. So they ain't talking about that. So like, yeah. All right. Now, where was I again? No, I'm talking about the things that happen in here, what causes us to realize that this is not going the way the Lord wants it to go. And we yet in our slavery. We yet in this bondage. And these things are happening. Sons molesting mothers. Children are dying at so great a rate. The younger children, some people give me they have something to say about my beard. I say, listen, plenty of y'all ain't gonna grow up to get this color. You ain't gonna get to this age. You can get unalive before you get here. Okay, so respect this. I can honor this because many have not gotten that far. As far as I know, my father didn't get this far. He's gone on 51. I know he used to be clean shaven. I don't know if he was graying already because when he died, I was young. It's a lack here. Okay, so next. Again, you have this police investigating an early morning shooting where a 49-year-old man was hospitalized, right? It's just like people are trying to make it, doing illegal stuff. If you get shot, more than likely something illegal is going on. Maybe you might even been involved. Maybe it might have been a stray bullet. I'm just saying something was going on that shouldn't be happening. I'm not even putting it on you yourself who get shot, but I ain't taking it off you either. Okay, so the thing is, we just trying to make life as life keep life in. What are we gonna do? We trying to find ways to make things happen. You ain't got no money, right? All of the bills you do, the prices going up on everything. Your wages ain't going up. You ain't making no more money. You set out that same money and everything else is increasing around. What do? People try to find ways to increase their earnings, and a lot of time it's not legal. It's illegal. And a lot of times it's deadly, and a lot of times people die. They're taking a chance. Okay, so that's just another indication that we yet. So how this guy get shot? What he get shot for? He was so far out of the city limits. I'm not sure what he was doing. All right, but I had some experience with people out of the city limits also, and whether they were doing honest things or dishonest things, I don't know. But again, we have a lot of bushy areas out in the outskirts. A lot of the areas connect to the seas, so you never know what's happening. Okay, so one of the things that they used to call Freeport the Magic City, right? The Magic City. Now, that's when I was a teenager and shortly thereafter. The Magic City. When I was a teenager, you see what's going on here now? When I was a teenager, the city used to be magic. But after that, I don't think it was magic after that. And now they're trying to bring back the days of the Magic City. One of the biggest properties, one of the biggest attractions used to be the International Bazaar. And so that has been sold to some Africans. Yeah, that's another thing. Eh? Africans coming. You can see how that work out. But that's been sold, and we're going to see if that actually regenerate, revitalize, do anything for the economy of Grand Bahama. Not only Freeport, because the whole island of Grand Bahama suffers when if nothing goes right in Freeport or the surrounding areas, the whole thing suffers. Yeah, you can't isolate it from there. So that's our current events for my neck of the woods. Let's get a little bit of see if anything happening on the international event, which we want to say a little bit about. Well, what the normal things going on? Hey, see what y'all ain't realizing. Of course, the Negroes, we're trying to hustle. You're trying to hustle to make some money to pay your bill. You ain't got the time to try and take over the world. You ain't got the time to take over the world. But I want you to realize something. This Iran and U.S. and Iran tension, the escalating. The Strait of Hormuz. You know what that's all about? Who controlling the world? You might see it like that. Who controlling the world? Who controlling the dollars? This is just a big fight. It's just a big fight. And so what you see happening is it's just a fight going on, and everybody. And from time immemorial, if you look at the oppressor, the Edomites, the Anglo-Saxon, any of them, Caucasian, they trying to take over the world. In so much that most of the dark-skinned people, they would, and this is how it used to be in the early on the continent of Africa, which they used to build houses. Now, see, you would say, oh, y'all building houses, y'all building huts around the trees. The people used to build the houses right within the ecosystem, right? They didn't change anything. They build the house onto the tree, almost make the house look like the tree. Now, what has happened? They bulldoze the whole thing down, bulldoze the whole tree down, the whole forest down, and put concrete, make a concrete jungle, right? Is that progress? If you think about it, it may very well not be progress. All right? See this thing change. I think so. Yeah. It may very well not be progress, because if you look at, it's according to how you look at it. But right now, we have bulldozed most of the forest down on the whole planet, on Earth. There's a few rainforests and things that we could identify, and there's a few deserts which people try to stay away from them. But in wherever people are living, they bulldoze the whole thing down and put concrete down. All right. Now, over time, they start to say we need to put some more greenery in, so let's make some parks. They did that. But that's what's happening. It's a whole take over the world scheme going on. And you're so busy trying to pay your water bill, you can't even you can't get in the game. You can't get in the game. That's why the system is set like that. You can't get in the game. You're trying to save some money to pay them children's school fee. You're trying to save some money to put gas in that car will keep breaking down. But these people trying to take over the world. That's why this tension is going on. Okay? Now, even with Russia and Ukraine, why the tension going on? The tension going on because they're trying to see who can rule this area, who can dominate this area, who can take over this area. That's what's happening. Think about it. These people, they family, they break off and now they fighting one another. right? Proxy war. They got other people propping them up. At least America propping up Slovakia. Somebody propping them up in the background, right? So they propping them up in the background to fight. What they want? What they fighting for? Because they want to take over. They want to conquer. If you see everything from the past, from the Crusades, when after the Dark Ages, people just start fighting and taking over land. They fight and they take over land. They fight and they put you in slavery if they meet you there, and they have they have more firepower, more newer weapons than you, bro. The deal said you lose. You're going into slavery. They taking your land. They taking everything from you, and that's what it's all about. Let's move down some more. Venezuela. After all the other stuff happening with, the president and all this other stuff, now we got a earthquake, right? Twin earthquakes where at least 1,400 people are dead and 30,000 people could be injured. Who trying to help them people? No, they're trying to take over the whole world instead of we try to help each other. And those are some of the 12 tribes of Israel. The only people that's going to help them is the Israelites. Commanding General Yohana, because ain't nobody else thinking about them like that. Not to that extent. They might carry a little aid here and there. But again, they got the Edomites, they got all the resources all tied up. Only the Lord can come and shake this up. All right? So that's Venezuela. Now, my favorite character in the Sandbox, Agent Orange. Dun, 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 dun. The leader of the free world. Yeah. Agent Orange. So now he's talking about his aggressive diplomatic push to end the Iranian conflict. Now he's pushing and still threatening. But that's how he is. He's a pusher, threatening, bully. He's one of the biggest bullies in the Sandbox with the smaller children. I know he used to go in the Sandbox with the smaller children, but anyhow, he didn't go with the big children was. So he can take advantage of that. All right. So the last international current event is, of course, the Ebola. Now, Ebola seems to be mainly restricted to Africa right now, and it seems to be like 400 infected persons. Now, it's easy. See, Ebola is very deadly, but Ebola is easy to control because you must show symptoms before Ebola could be transferred from one person to the next. So anybody have any kind of symptoms, they're quarantined. So you could stop Ebola easily, and I think that's what they've done so far. But if someone were to get out of there and into the wider public, and go unbeknown to somebody, and then they get sick let's just say they get sick in a classroom with children, and a large percent of them get sick. If they can't put the traces on them and lock them down quick enough, that's how it all spreads. Okay, but for right now, they seem that they got it under control. They stopped the spread, and that's what's happening with Ebola. And that's how you spread it. That's containing. You find them, your contact tracing, see who all they come in contact with, and tell them, hey, come down to the hospital, or come down to the shelter, come down here. When you reach, you can't leave. No, you cannot leave. Sorry, you've been in contact with such and such a person, and they're showing signs of Ebola. You're now quarantined. That's it. Your life finished until they can conclude whether you have it or not. And that's how any contagious disease must be handled. Firmly. Yes, firmly. All right, so we are done with that. We have nobody coming on this yet. Hopefully we have some people jumping in here. I know UPK is not an easy thing to to actually ascribe to. I know UPK is not easy to describe to, but it is good. I'm telling you. Okay, so we're gonna talk about our topic tonight. We're gonna try and wrap up the Genesis. We're not covering everything in Genesis, obviously not. Okay, we just want to touch on some things in in the Genesis story as we move on into some of the other topics. But I want to say a few things on some of these topics that we're going to be going over. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. If you're in the room, open up your mic and ask your question. If I have the answer, I'll get it. If I don't, I'll ask Cap to give me the answer. I have backup. Okay, so now we talked about some of this, and I want to go over some of it slightly again. The Apostle Paul said, "You don't think it's grievous to be repetitious," but I wanted to touch on first the angel and Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and so I want us to at least acknowledge where that happened. I want to at least acknowledge where that took place. Now, I know we talked about it, but I want to actually see the verse where it actually took place and talk a little bit about that. So, let's see. It's a lot here for that. I'm definitely in the wrong. Okay. Now we know what was happening. Like what was happening is, and I'll read a little bit until we come down to the point. Jacob was, and this is the book of Genesis chapter 32 and verse 1. And Jacob went on his way, and the angel of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's house." And he called the name of that place Moriah, Mahaniah. And Jacob sent messengers before unto Esau his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, "Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob said, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. I have oxen and asses and flocks and maid and manservant and woman servant, and I have sent to tell my Lord that I may find grace in thy sight." And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him." And Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels into 2 bands. And if Esau come to the one company and smite it, the other company which is left shall escape. So, of course, what's happening here is Jacob is on his way back home. He wants to make sure everything was right with Esau. And so Esau wasn't really letting nothing know. When Jacob sent the people ahead of him to try and make it right, because as far as he's concerned, Esau gonna be pissed off at him, because when he left, Esau really wanted to unalive him. And so when he was on his way back, he tried to send these people ahead to smooth it over. But that didn't happen, right? He didn't really say it was okay. He just said, "Okay, I come in," and carry 400 men. So that wasn't comforting at all. So Jacob just thought, "Man, this nigga come to march me up with all these people, and I got my people, so let's separate them." Okay, so on his way back there, during the night, he fell asleep, right? And because what I want to get into now is how Israel come into being. That's my point here. How did the name Israel come into being? That's what we're going to talk about for a few seconds right now. Okay, now, so let me read. This is the book of Genesis chapter 32 and down at verse 26. And he said, "Let me go for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with man, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask me my name? And he blessed him there. Jacob called the name of that place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. So I just wanted you to get an idea this where this name Israel was introduced from. Now, because we are Israel, right? We are Israel. We are from the tribe of Benjamin. And we went over that, but I wanted us to touch on this again for a few seconds as we move on further. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to look at was, and I know I may have touched on it, but as we wrapping this up, I want to touch a little bit on Dinah, right? Now, I can paraphrase some of this, a lot of it, and I'll read a little bit of it, okay? But this is the book of Genesis chapter 34, starting at verse 1, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah. Okay, so first I wanted to say that Dinah is the daughter of Leah. So Leah had the most, Leah had the most of the children. Leah had the most of the children, and she had the only daughter. Okay, she had the only daughter. And I want to say this too now, that as I look through this, the daughters were never, we tribes are not recognized as feminine because there's no tribe of Dinah. Because some people will say, oh, men and women are equal. The tribes are equal. So if the tribes are equal, show me where there's a tribe of Dinah. That's what I want you to do. Okay, it doesn't exist. So all the tribes are all masculine. Okay, so, well, but this story talks about an African which defiled Dinah. Okay? He defiled Dinah, and then what he wanted to do, he wanted to be, because of course our people always supposed to stay to ourselves. We're not supposed to be mixing with the Africans, with the Edomites, with the East Indians, with the Hawaiians, and we're not supposed to be mixing with them. Like someone said, the Lord gave us 12 tribes. We get to, you could select mates from all of those, not from anybody else. And so what happened in this case, this person actually forced himself on Dinah. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find his name. The son of Jacob came out and found in the field and heard it. And the men were grieved. And then they were very wroth because they heard the folly of Israel is lying with Jacob's daughter, which things ought not to be done. You see, that's 34:7. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. So Shechem is the one who defiled Dinah. Okay, and the father, so what they wanted to do, okay, we know you ain't supposed to be, because of course our people always stayed separate. And so now what happened is they saying, okay, we can let's you marry our daughters and let us marry your daughters. But now the Levi and Simeon didn't like that. So what they devised a plan to cause them to be circumcised, and their plan was they was going to unalive them, and that's what they did. they tell them, okay, if you want us to marry a daughter and you marry us, you all circumcise yourselves, and then we'll now let y'all be Israelites, basically. But it was a whole scheme. It was a scheme. It was a scheme to unalive them because of what they did. And it's all in this passage, okay? So what they did, as they were circumcised in 3 days, they will beat Simeon and Levi went and slaughtered them all of the men. I just wanted to bring that part in there because, again, it's so strange that Simeon and Levi today, they basically share an island, you know? Simeon and Levi, they share an island. And they don't get along too well either. They don't get along well, okay? Like how you and your siblings don't get along, them two don't get along that well. That's, of course, that's Haiti and Dominican Republic, right? Yeah. So that's Simeon and Levi. Okay, so and after they did it, this is what Jacob said to them in Genesis chapter 34 and verse 30. Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of this land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and being few in numbers, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, and I and my house. And they said, should he deal with our sister as an harlot? You see, if you notice what Jacob's saying, Jacob talking about everybody as him. When Jacob speak, he said, you can cause me to get destroyed. What Jacob's saying is, when he kill all of y'all, yes, my name done. I'm done. If he kill all of the men, if they kill all of the men here, that's it. I'm done. Y'all are done. I'm done. That's me. You know, I stop right here. And so that's what he was saying. But that's where Simeon and Levi, I think that's a part of them where they became so, where they got the blessings. We're going to come to that when Jacob in a short order, okay? Actually in a minute. So that's what happened. That's how Jacob got his name, Israel, and that's what happened in Dinah. And of course, they defended her. Okay, now we're gonna jump. I mean, not just gonna deal with any of the Esau. Let's just stick with Israel. So let's go to Genesis 47. Of course, I'm jumping through a lot of stuff, and these things you'll have to read, and we may go back on these from time to time to cover some of the other information. But this information I want to cover tonight, it said this one basically closes the Israelites and their plight. Now we talk about Joseph. We talk a lot about Joseph and what happened in Egypt. We talk about how Joseph got into Egypt. We talk about that. We went over that. And now we're talking about Joseph. We're coming to the end of both Jacob and Joseph's lives, their lives. And but we're talking about how things happen and the blessings that we get. Another identifying mark of how when the Israelites are how they could be recognized, and not only the Israelites, but in the different groups, the different tribes, how the different tribes would function with that, like how we get our names. We get our names according to how it appears to the men above us, what we're going to be or what we are, and so that's where we get our names from. So Jacob, he is telling his children what is going to befall them, as he leaves the scene. In the last, and not only that, in the last days. So, so in the last days, he's saying these some of the things what is going to be for them in the last days. All right, and so we're going to read some of that and get an understanding of it before we move on, because these are the things. These are some of the identifying markers you need to be looking at and appreciating and understanding. And when persons talk about the different tribes, they're going to talk about some of these things. They're going to identify some of the tribes by some of the actions. Okay, so we're going to talk about them. All right, so This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49. We're going to start at the first verse. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you which shall befall ye in the last days. Now, when we look at that, we think about the sons in their last days, but it seems like this is not only talking about the sons in their last, we're talking about how the tribes would end up and how they would be and how they would act, how it, their characteristics. Some of it is shown just by what he's saying. And I don't have the breakdown for all, but I'm going to read through it. Okay, so gather yourselves together, and hear ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel, your father. So he's letting them know, now, listen, my name used to be Jacob, now it's Israel. When you get your name changed, those people who refuse to call you your new name, they got a problem with you. They vibing with you. That's how we would say it. Now, they might never say it to you, but they don't think that you should be getting a new name. They think that whatever your parents name you, whatever your government name is, you don't have the right to change your name. But the Lord could change your name. I had a brother, sibling, who changed his name a few times, not just once. And you know what I do? When he changed his name, I call him that name that he won't be called by. That's his name. You think about it. I'm a Kashka, so you can call me my government name now. And do you know what I went through to get this name? That I desire to have this name? Why would you nullify all of my efforts to get this name to call me the same name that I tried to get away from? Okay. So I don't know, but this is what happens, right? Now Israel is saying, he's letting them know he have a new name. So he called him up. Reuben. Reuben is the firstborn, right? Reuben. That was my firstborn and my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency and dignity and power, excellency and the excellency of power. But what did he say? But you know something? Unstable as water. So this is what he's saying. Unstable as water. Thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiled thou it, and he went up to my couch. You know the story with that, right? We were not sexual with one of his father's wives. Now, and so that's what he's saying. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49, and verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brothers. Instrument of cruelty are in their habitation. So you say, O my soul, come not into thine secret and into thy assembly, mine honor, be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dug down a wall. So check this out. O my soul, come not thou into thy secret place, unto the assembly, mine honor, be not thou united. We said earlier that they're on the same island, but they're so far from one another. They're not united. But mind you, I have seen where, well, of course, the Dominicans, and the next thing, the Dominicans speak Spanish, and the Haitians speak French. You know how that happened, right? You know how that happened, because in slavery, we had the French was in charge of that part of the island, and the Spaniards was in charge of the next. That's all. So that, I guess, I put even a further wedge between them. But however, we find that we have a lot of the Levites that passes through the Bahamas, they speak both. French, or what they call their broken French, and they speak their broken Spanish. They speak those languages, and you have one person that speak both of them, because what they do, they well the Haitians in particular, they go over to the Dominican to work. They go over, they move between the borders to find a job. Yeah, but again, they on the same island, but like the scriptures say, they divided. And you know how long the scripture was written? Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, and it was cruel. I will deliver them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. I think it's still talking about them, the Levites and the Simeonites. Okay, Judah. We go to the next one now, right? Judah, thou art he, thy brother shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So what this is saying is the Judites. Judites is basically almost like the head tribe. Judah, thou art whom thy brother shall praise. So they say we can praise Judah. Where is Judah located now? Judah is located, the blacks inside America. Okay? Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. So where is he? In America, where the enemy is. And his hand is in the neck of the enemy. If you think about it, he's right there. Right there calling the white man the devil that the Bible speak of. Right in it. So thy father's children shall bow down before thee. And of course, the whole American scene. But I know one thing. The Benjamins here from the Bahamas love America. The whole everything about it. They don't particularly like the black people over there because they think they have a problem, right? So like they didn't have a problem, but yeah, they love America in general, and they really the ones that recognize the blacks, the Judites, they really see them very highly. And one of the things is we used to have shame to say it, we used to have the females used to come, the black Americans used to come over and the Bahamians just call them Watergate. They just, they tried to took up them as many as they could, as in the book of Genesis, chapter 6, and tried to be wives, tried to make them wives, Watergates. Anyway, I don't want to digress too much. That was the code anyway. Persons who was around those days, they may know that. Okay, so Judah, and again, these also symbolic. Judah is a lion's whelp. For the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He crouches as a lion, and as an old lion. Who shall raise him up? So we see Judah being this lion, and that's how the Judites, their symbol is a lion. Because Christ was from the tribe of Judah. Yes. Okay, so Christ was a Judite. So the same, and that's one of the other things I know why I say that everybody will praise him, because Christ is the one everybody will definitely praise, and he's from the line of Judah, right? The lion of the tribe of Judah. Okay, so the scripture shall not depart from Judah. Salaki, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, until he shall be gathered of the people. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Salakia. Yeah, so again, this is talking about that mean Judite. Okay, the scepter shall not part from Judah, because right now Christ, that's it. He's the last one you have charge with the Judite line. We know that the King David, it comes down the Judite line, and so now it falls on Christ, and of course, the lawgiver, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the lawgiver from between his feet, until shadow comes, until the end. It's not going to pass over, right? Binding his food unto the vine, and his ass's coat unto the choice vine. He washes garment in wine, and his clothes in blood of grapes. So lucky, I need to break down on that one. But his eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white like milk. At some point they're saying that Judite, when they talk about Christ, they say, well, his eyes, that's one of the reasons why his eyes was red with wine. I've heard that also. I've not heard the breakdown on this, but as I read through, and his teeth was white like milk. Zebulun shall dwell in the heaven of the seas, and he shall be for a heaven of ships, and his borders shall be unto Zidon. So Zebulun, and again, as we break these things down, we see the symbols in them, and we see as Jacob is moving off the scene, he's giving them a word. Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens. Now, we know that Issachar is a Mexican. And I think I said in the last time when we talk about that, Issachar has some serious workers. I mean, I work a lot. I can't raise it. I can't keep up with the Issachar brothers. I watch them on the construction site. Oh man, they smooth, they work. At 12 o'clock, they stop work, they go lay down and sleep. They eat their lunch, lay down and sleep. When the time finish, 1 o'clock finish, they get up, jamming. They get running up at 90, 100%, back out on they putting everybody to shame. That's the Issacharites. Yeah, they're doing it. And they ain't stopping. And they say right now, between two burdens, and he shall saw the rest was good, and the land was pleasant. So he's a waker, definitely. His none works more than him, and what I see in the 12th tribe. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. And Dan is a judge. He shall judge his people. I understand exactly what all that consists of. Dan shall be the serpent by the way, and the adder in the path, that biteth the horse heel, so that his rider shall fall backwards. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. That's Dan. And then Gad, a trooper shall overcome thee, but he shall overcome at the end. And again, the Gadites is the Indians. I think the Danites also. I think the Danites in the Dan. I think one of the sons kind of melted into the other groups. I think it might have been Dan. So lucky, I need to check that. Okay. His bed shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words. And Joseph is a fruitful broth, even a fruitful broth by a way, whose branches run over the wall. Now we know that even though this is talk about Joseph, we know that in the 12th tribe, Joseph's name really doesn't appear. The archer was sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But he abode in strength. Abode in strength, and his arm and the arm of his hand were made strong by the hand of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. That's Asher. Who's that? Let's see who's next. That was actually Joseph. That's Joseph. And then we go down to Benjamin. Now, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. And a lot of times, as a Benjamin, my name is Akashka, which is brother of Dawn, and it's called, and like I said to someone, I don't know if the name caused me wake up early or I was waking up early all along, but I'm definitely an early morning person. And not so much a late night, because if all of my chores are finished and I sit down, that's it. I'm sleeping. Now, if I have work, I might stay up, but if I don't have anything to do, I'm falling asleep. But I'm up early and I'm ready to work. And I think that's where Benjamin comes in. Working and then ready to divide the spoils in the evening. Working, willing to work, willing to manipulate his hands all day, and then divide the spoils. So those are some of the things I wanted to touch on with that. We've not done yet. We got a couple more scriptures we want to go over before the end. But if there's any questions or anything so far, jump in. Okay, so we're going to move down to Genesis chapter 49. We can look at the 33rd verse. Because Jacob he brought everybody to him. And after he was finished, and when Jacob had made an end of commending his sons and he gathered up his feet into the bed and yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people. So that is when he died. Now, like I said, a lot of people, most Christians, aren't ready to even consider the possibility that they're going to be translated, transformed, transfigured, move out of this place, unalive. No, nobody wants to think about that. Are they thinking about, don't rush to do that? I like to just forward them with that. Okay, so that's Jacob off of the scene. And then let's go over to Genesis chapter 50 and the 15th verse. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father had died, they saying, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and he will certainly requite us all the evil that we did unto him. Let me see if this. Slovakia. Okay, so the end of this, which is Genesis chapter 50 and verse 26. So Joseph died being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. So now we have Jacob has died, Joseph has died. Now we know the next thing what has happened was the Pharaoh, when the Pharaohs changed, the new Pharaoh didn't know about Joseph, didn't know what he did, didn't know his reputation or anything about him. So with that, what they did, they basically put the children of Israel into bondage. Why did they do that? They did it because the children of Israel were so much more than they were. they were frightened that if enemies rise up against them, that the children of Israel would side with the people. And so this is how the children of Israel went into slavery. And of course, we talk about the Exodus. That's the Exodus will be coming up. How they was exited after 400 plus years, as they were crying unto the Lord sent Moses and brought them out. What we may do is look at the plagues. You know, the plagues would brought them out, because I understand the plagues were actually was addressing each of the Egyptians' gods. I'll see if that is the case, and that's something that we can go over in the future. So, that being said, any questions that you may have on anything that was put across? It's been a little bit of reading through the night, but these things are important for us to really solidify in our spirit. And these are things we could continue to talk about. These are things we could teach others. Because understanding the scripture is paramount. A lot of times people are going to talk from their collar, from their back pockets, but they need to pull out the scriptures and speak from them. And once they do that, we'll all find out the errors in their ways. And with that, if there's no questions, we can wrap it up right on that. So, okay, so these are the security announcements. We had an ISUP case started at 1 West 125th Street under Commandant General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves off the world. If the brother or sister has a particular interest in a person after the first 6 months, they'll get permission from the head to court to particular person. And then after that 6 months, they'll have to go back to the head and get permission to marry. Tithes is a commandment. You can find that Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8 through 10. It's 10th in the Hebrew. It's pronounced Ma'ashur. 10% of anything that the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. The priest fund is not mandatory. Whatever much you like to give a priest, you can give a priest. In the upcoming Holy Convocation is blown at the trumpet, which I understand is 31st of July. And if anybody wants to be, Salakia, Emmanuel Akim and Aquadian, to check the social media, isubk.com, isubk.org for material and events. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, then he should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black pants, black shirts, black headband or scarf. And with that, what do you say to anybody that will see it in the future? To the brothers, we'll say, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatah. To the brothers, and to the sister, we say, Yahweh Shema Alatam Bahashem Yahushai, the sister.
Yahweh Shema Alatam Bahashem Yahushai.
And with that, that's dismissed.
All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, and this and that for life. For the road. The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, sin and curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. This loyalty and death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind fail. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. The devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like bad pal. But ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times. It is death do us part. No. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name. So you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing. Ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fuck 'em, raise it, raise it. I pity those watching life as it go by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. In pump smoke, never try to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead, that's all I don't. In the photo, salute my nigga, salute my nigga. They like, how you stay focused? I told him I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now I never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she leave me, said she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. So, how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah, yeah.
Backstage.
Yeah, nigga. Fake ass nigga.
You ain't no Israelite, but you a gospel light, bitch.
Fuck you talking about?